All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Normally I like to have a nice whiteboard and kind of show you guys the lesson, but with a lesson like today, I actually have some visuals I'd like to show you guys, help you guys understand exactly what the assignment you are doing is. We did a lot of factors and multiples, and now we are moving on to measurement inches, miles, using rulers, using how many pounds you weigh, things along those lines. So, our first one is going to be doing some conversions. Conversions is changing from one number to the other. You'll see a little bit. We're going to go to the vocab box in a second. So, this is our entry task. It says it's called From Parking Lot to Parking Lots. So, our vocabulary for today includes area. When we're doing an area, it is the bottom. It's kind of like the base towards or by the height. So by how tall it is, how long it is, by how tall it is. If you're doing a perimeter, it's adding all the sides up together. And conversion is the act of changing. So, for example, we might go from inches to feet, something along those lines. So many of you, when you've gone to a place, you've gone to school, you've gone to a grocery store, there are a parking lot and there are parking lots. And you can see each parking lot has a small space for cars, motorcycles, bikes, sometimes, things along those lines. You also got a park, and a lot of parks are in rectangular forms. So a park might be where you go to play soccer. It may be where you go to enjoy some time with your family on a picnic. Maybe you throw the frisbee there. You can notice this specific park has four sides, and we would technically call this bottom part the base, and the height or the length and the width. The units we are going to be working today, and units are basically the label. For example, on this screen, you can see this is 1 yard. I wish I was with you guys to show you guys what a yardstick actually looks like, but you've probably seen them in my classroom. It's the big, long rulers that are like, sometimes I use them to turn on the projector and things along those lines. Now, 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. So when you have your 1 yard ruler, this super long one, it's the same as 3 of these small rulers. Each one of these small ones is 12 inches, which is 1 foot. If you guys have your supplies that Senora Barlobre and I delivered you, each one of you should have a ruler that you can see the feet, the 1 foot and the 12 inches in it. You can see that there are a certain amount of inches that go into a yard. For example, 12 inches plus 12 inches plus 12 inches, 36 inches, just like 1 foot plus 2 feet plus 3 feet, 3 feet. So, one thing we're going to be using is linear units, is how long something is, like a perimeter, and square units, when you say how many it's got and the whole thing is covered. Linear is like with the park, just the outside, like if you're going to put a fence. Square yards is how much it would cover the whole thing. Now, let me see. I believe that is the end of this PowerPoint. So I'm going to show you guys what your assignment is going to look like. This is a pretty quick telling of it because this is almost like what we call our pretest. Our pretest is the test that kind of comes before our unit to help us know what exactly we know, what are we coming in with, what do we need to know. So on this pretest, you have a couple different questions. I did my best to translate them into Spanish, so hopefully it's correct. Your first one says the Sequoia Community Center decides to convert, so change, the parking lot in front of their building into a park. So they want to take a place where all these cars park and turn it into a place where you can play. The space is 40 yards long by 10 yards wide. Draw a rectangle to represent the park. Label the long side 40 yards and the short side 10 yards. So you are going to draw your own rectangle and you're going to label the long side 40 and the shorter side 10. That's important to know because that's something you're going to want to remember for your next questions. The second question says, what are the dimensions of this park in feet? So if you go back to the first question, it told you in yards. But if you remember, one thing we talked about was there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So I want you to do your best to try and figure out how would you figure out then how many feet is in this 40 yards? How many feet would be in this 10 yards? What are the length? How long is it in feet and how tall? So the 40 in yards, how many feet? The 10. Remember, this is a pre-test. Do the best you can. I just love to see your effort. This one says, what is the area of the park in square yards? So the length, the long times the width. And we're going back to yards in this one. It's very important to try and remember and show how you know. Draw a picture if that would help. What is the area of this park in feet? For this one, you'd go back to this one where you figured out the feet, and then you would use that for this part right here. Now, I'm trying, let me move my screen a little bit here. The last one is, what is something you think of when you hear the word measurement? It's like a journal. When you've heard the word measurement, what does it make you think of? Please, my friends, ask me any questions. Check in with me. I'm going to be working on some office hours so you can check in with me on this. Anything that could work that would help you. But please remember, this is a pre-test. So if it's giving you a hard time, all I ask you is to try. Thank you.